I'm Peter Block here in New Orleans at the AHA annual meeting, and with me is Dr. Jay Travers from Minneapolis. Jay has been very interested in stem cell issues, and now we are 2 years out into your trial. Jay, first of all, tell me about the trial, and then where do you stand at the present time?
So the TIME trial was the first cell therapy trial developed by the Cardiovascular Cell Therapy Research Network. The goal was to investigate the role of timing of cell delivery after acute myocardial infarction, and 120 patients were randomized to either cell therapy or placebo between day 3 and day 7 after they had angioplasty and stenting. And what we found was that there was no additional improvement in those patients that received bone marrow mononuclear stem cells compared to placebo. We then stipulated that we would follow these patients for 2 years, constituting one of the longest MRI follow-ups in patients with large anterior myocardial infarctions. And what we found great stability in both groups. There still was no improvement in the cell therapy group, but overall those patients did well. There's only one cardiovascular death in the entire cohort out to 2 years. So next, one of the secondary endpoints is to look at the role of microvascular obstruction, and about 50% of our patients had microvascular obstruction. And when you broke down the two groups between those who had microvascular obstruction compared to those who didn't, patients with microvascular obstruction had much larger infarcts, had much greater remodeling, and had no improvement in their ejection fraction over time compared to those patients without microvascular obstruction, who actually did quite well over the 2-year period.
Well, let me ask you a question, Jay. So what does this mean going forward for you guys? I mean, the stem cell business is always sort of off and on, but this seems to be an important issue.
Right. I think what we found is we've moved on to more robust cell types. Where CONCERT study is starting now, which will be the first study in the world to deliver 2 stem cell types at the same time in people with ischemic cardiomyopathy. They'll receive both c-Kit stem cells as well as mesenchymal stem cell. And we're also starting Seneca, which will be the first study to give stem cells to patients with Adriamycin-induced cardiomyopathy.
So tell me how we get rid of microvascular obstruction, Jay.
I think that's one of the most important things, and there's really not a lot of research going on with that right now, and it's very powerful. It was the most powerful thing we found as far as predicting how patients were going to do.
Okay, so there you have it. More to come on stem cells, and microvascular obstruction therapy may be the next big thing we all look at as well. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, Peter.